Good evening, everyone. It's great to be with you again tonight. Thanks for joining us. The people that are joining us are the ones that really want to grow. And let me tell you something, people are really growing during this epidemic or pandemic. We've turned it into actually a positive in the business. And it's amazing to see what's happening. So I want to finish up with the concept of residual income because it really is what the business is all about. And if you learn how to talk about it, people are automatically going to become interested. People will automatically qualify themselves or disqualify themselves. And you'll be able to give them an offer too good to refuse where they lead to people. And if you think about it, that's the bottom line. That's the net. You have to get people to lead to people in order to get customers and in order to find the people that are really going to do the business. And then everybody in that team effort to lead to them gets credit. It's really magical. So I want to go to the PowerPoint now and just try to help you out with this a little bit. So this is going to lead into how to do the evaluation approach, actually how to, what to say, different scripts, how to respond to things that they come back with, how to have the conversation, and how to get really smooth and really good at it. So we're going to work with you on that. And you know, you can't learn anything unless you do it. I can't teach you how to ride a bicycle by giving you a seminar. You have to get on it and we have to help you balance. So as we do this together and you start doing it with a team and a senior partner, that'll change the atmosphere. And it won't be as difficult as it used to be because you got somebody backing you up. It's, you know, my friends treat me the same way your friends treat you. They think I don't know anything. So that kind of eliminates it when you have an expert from afar or somebody that you're connected with that's already making money in the business. It really helps you get the message across and get them to open up their mind. But this has really been working. Now you see this slide here. The bottom line is it really works and everybody should be doing it. It's amazing what's been accomplished. Last week we popped in on Elizabeth Weber and her team of, you know, the 90-day fast track team of All In. And it's amazing how, even though they can't go out and do meetings, they're doing better online with the Zoom presentation, doing the evaluation approach. You know, a senior partner and somebody that's trying to grow, getting on the phone with a couple people, they talk about residual income, they get them interested, then they can set up an appointment to show the plan, and then they get them to do the evaluation approach. And they talk to some people for them. And it's just amazing how well it works. So you want to make sure that you get on board with this. It's a lot of fun. We did a little pop in with Beth and Pip Black last night, and they had 25 people that were, it wasn't their first generation necessarily of the 90-day fast track. It was a next generation of people who had led to people, and they were so excited because it was working. And, you know, the one thing I think that came out of that is you don't want to rush it. You don't need to show somebody the whole plan. You just need to get them sold on the concept. And then you can take the time to come back and show them the 5 steps. So at any rate, you know, we're having a lot of fun with this. And it all comes down to really getting this concept of residual income. That is what sets us apart and puts the opportunity and system at the top of the economic ladder. And you're not exchanging time for money. At this time in life and in the world, people listen to this. They understand this because they have to exchange time in order to get money, in order to get a paycheck. So with this program, they can have an insurance policy, what I call living insurance, okay? You actually develop a system from the time you put in now that pays you continuously in the future so that if something like this happens again, they won't be in the situation that they are right now. Of course, any unfranchised owner that's built the business, their income is not interrupted. You're getting paid continuously and indefinitely in perpetuity for what you have developed. And that's what our system was really designed to do. It's what it's all about. So it's a proverbial pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, or the golden goose egg. And usually residual income is reserved for the privileged, the elite, or the affluent. I want to focus on that some tonight. It's so difficult to get. And we have a way that the average person can get it. The system's designed for the average person by removing all the normal barriers and obstacles that are in the way in order to ever to tap into this incredible thing called residual income. And it's the highest and best use of one's time. Look, we all have things to do. You can spend your time in a lot of ways. And you have dreams, you have wishes. But this provides you both the income and the time freedom to pursue your dreams and to live freely. And there's no other way to do it, because you can make a lot of money, but you become a slave to the system. You have to be there. So I love this slide, and you can take this slide out and use it and just talk to people using this slide to get the concept down. See, if people are looking for a solution, if they're looking to beat the system, to rise above it, you have the solution. And this is a reality in life. Most people get a job and they start out with some entry pay, maybe 28,000, 30,000, and they start to get raises and they move up the ladder. They might be able to even double their income over the next 45 years. And wherever they end up then, after 45 years, they retire and they get 1/2 to 1/3 pay, in a pension or Social Security. I mean, the maximum Social Security is $1,785. I don't see how people live on that. So they work 45 years in these gradual increases and end up at half pay. How can you live on half pay when you can't even live on full pay? But this is reality. This is not a fairy tale. This is not, it's kind of a nightmare. But I really think it's important to give people a wake-up call. So the second choice is to go into business for yourself. And, that's not as easy as it sounds. If someone is able to go into business for themselves, normally it costs 5 times normal net income of a business in order to get into it in an investment or upfront cost. So $100,000 income, the business is generally going to cost $500,000. You're going to have to mortgage your life away. There's a starvation period. Okay, it doesn't come with all the customers necessarily. So you got to build it up. Most people understand that. So after 5 years, you might make enough money to pay back that original investment. So if you think about it, you just broke even. You haven't really made it. You've been able to pay off, the debt of buying the business. So maybe you stay in it. Maybe someone stays in it for 10, 15 years. And we all know people like this. We think it's prestigious, but really there's 24 hours a day until you go into business for yourself. They're never off. There's a lot of burden, a lot of pressure. They have to handle all those problems. They can never walk away from it. So at some point, they get tired and they can sell the business, and they might get some extra money for a goodwill or a going concern. But after that, they have no income. So how long are they going to be able to live on whatever they got in a lump sum for selling that business? They had to pay the business off. They got a lump sum. And now in another year or two, they're going to have to go back to work. So the next option, which is even better than that, is there's some types of business and marketing programs that have renewals, like insurance, membership marketing, continuity marketing, renewals, membership. You can work hard, get a nice pay per year on the new memberships that you build. But then when there's renewals, you get a percentage of that builds on top of your annual income from what you're actually selling or producing. And residual income actually comes from the insurance industry, that you build a client base and when they have premium renewals, you get a piece of the renewals from the past years, from the previous policies that you sold. And of course, that's shrunk and there's a lot of competition. So it's not the way it used to be. But that's better than just exchanging time for money, because you're getting something from what you already produced in the previous years, building on top of what you produced this year. Does that make sense? Okay, so then we have the program that was made specifically to produce residual income. Yeah, we all love the products. We all love each other. But at the end of the day, why are we in this? We're in it to develop a residual income so we can have freedom. And that's really what the 2 to 3 year plan is all about. So the way this is built, without investment, without having to work 24 hours a day, without having to find somebody to help you or partner with that knows what they're doing, everything's provided. And there's no limitation on how much you can produce. So the curve is a much better curve, a climb to income. And the proof is in the pudding. I'm not making this up. Many people make 6 figures within 3 years. Within 5 years, 250 grand. So if you see the curve, it has a steeper climb than in other things. And then we can, at any time that we want, kind of step back and not build as hard. And there'll be gradual growth from what you already started, and you can add additional centers, but they're going to end up maxing out. And so it continues to climb with time, even though you're not working as hard as you did in the first 2 to 3 years. And there's thousands of examples of that in our business. So see, this is no longer theory. In the beginning, we used to say, this is a proven system. And they used to ask, well, who's proved it? And Elizabeth Weber used to say, I'm proving it. But today it is proven, isn't it? So here's the cool thing about it. The income can keep coming in, even though you're not working as hard as you did in the beginning. And you can build the business for 2 to 3 years, and then you can choose, to coast for a couple years and develop more centers in later when you come back and increase your income again. I mean, I always like to use the example of the Whiteds, deciding to go into some music ventures and then go into missionary work in Mexico. And, then a few years later come back, their income is still there and they're able to start building again on top of it. Where else can you do that? It just doesn't exist. So we have the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And the income continues as long as you satisfy your management responsibilities and make sure that everybody's taken care of. And at any time, you can resume building again. And so after 3 years or 5 years, I suppose you come back to the table and start building again, maxing out the centers you have, adding 1 center a year. Just 1 center a year, if the 001 is solid, will produce another $109,000 to $187,000 a year, building the inside legs, okay? Then you can re-enter, and if you re-enter on the weak side of a power leg, okay, it's half built, and you only have to build 1 more leg. So you could virtually build 1 leg a year for 9 years and be making nearly $2 million. I mean, how would that fit your lifestyle? And having fun doing it. Remember, that's rule number 1. This is not like other businesses that are work and, and high pressure and laborious. And this is fun. We're doing something that we love to do. We're helping other people. We have incredible products, and it's a team effort. So, have fun. So at any rate, this is a great slide to explain the whole concept that there's 4 basic forms of income or models that people can follow. And we, by far, have the best. So if you understand this and really get it embedded into your cerebral cortex, okay, and it becomes like a neon sign that lights up in your frontal lobes, that I got it. I have what everybody wants. I have the solution. Things will start to change for you because you're not trying to talk people into it anymore. We have it, you see. So simply combine the power of residual income. And if you can talk about this fluently, and enthusiastically. People will be interested, especially right now. So we have what everybody wishes. Everybody wishes that they had this. When they look at people that are unfranchised owners and what's going on today, they're not affected like everybody else is. In fact, they can continue growing and building the business, but their income isn't interrupted. So you can give them an offer too good to refuse. I like that statement. It's an old New Jersey term. We can give them an offer too good to refuse. Why? Because you have the system for residual income, all the technology, all of the products, all the support, all the systems, the team, experienced people to work with them. They just got to be willing to try it. Now, we don't know if they will do it or if they will, put in the effort, but they got everything to gain and nothing to lose, because we have the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, residual income, and all they need to do is evaluate it, thinking about, do I know anybody that would do well at this? Do I know anybody that knows the right people? They don't even need to know the people that would do well at it. They need to know the people that might know the people that would want to do it. And simply by doing a test run, by exposing it to some people with your help and your senior partner's help, if they lead to the right people and through the evaluation technique and the trial run, they've hit pay dirt, so they have everything to gain and nothing to lose. I hope that this sinks into your brain, because that's why we should be showing it to people. And that's what people are doing. You don't have to go to their house. You can do it right online. You got a captive audience right now. It's working like it's never worked before. So the evaluation approach and evaluation method and no decision close and trial run are almost magic. It's how I built the whole company. You see, my method is not try to get somebody in and see if it'll work and try to push them and convince them to do things. My method is I only want stars. So I try them out first, and if they can play well, we make it work first. So there's no decision to make because it already worked. They led to the people. Doesn't that make sense to you? You see, it takes the pressure off, and it kind of reverses the tug of war, You're not pulling, okay? They're pulling, and it makes it a lot easier. So when you learn this technique, it changes everything. And so we rehearse, we practice, we have fun, we do it together, and we tag team if necessary. If I have Andrew here with me, okay, and I'm talking to our head assistant here, Anna, okay, if I forget to say something, he'll add it in and we'll bounce it back and forth. If she gives me a hard time, he can rescue me.
Partners, teammates.
Right, exactly. So it really is a lot of fun. So the problem in finding a business that you can even get a profitable income from, not a residual income necessarily, but a nice profit, a nice return, earn six figures, is that if you get to the point where you want to do it, you got to go find a business. Think about this. We provide everything that's necessary, and it's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. They don't need to figure it out. They don't need to seek out and find a vehicle or a business and invest. Now, look, I want you to stop and think for a minute. That's a big thing. Somebody wakes up and says, I'm not going to make it working this job. I got to find a way where I can be an entrepreneur and make it. Well, what business are you going to go into? It is quite a task in finding something that'll work for you. And now you're going to have to raise the money. You're going to have to borrow or somehow get the initial startup money. And ours is so small that it's inconsequential. I tell people, never let money stop you from making millions, because here it's not really important. We can make it work first, and the money will, earn the money if we need to. But they don't need the experience to succeed, and they have an experienced, successful UFO working with them, for free. Actually, we go to work for the new people, don't we? because for us to make more money, we have to make them make more money. And that's a good way of looking at it. So there's a team of successful UFOs that have a vested interest, in them. And we provide, think about it, a 360-degree turnkey internet marketing and direct sales marketing system with the Market America unfranchised. Everything that someone would need, from exclusive brand products to a shopping annuity system to be able to use collective buying power to get things at less money and and save money, to fulfillment systems, to 14 major billion-dollar markets that have retail programs where they can make money, and the training, the support systems, to a arsenal of digital tools. I mean, it's incredible, all packaged for them and ready to go. So I don't know where else you get that. So let's get to the bottom line with the people that you run into. It's about developing a residual income and home-based internet marketing business with a Market America unfranchised now. They see what's going on. They don't want to be in that position for the rest of their life or again. They don't know what the future holds. Now's the time to do something about it. Because if you think the same way and you do the same thing, you're going to get the same result. But developing an unfranchise provides somebody living security. Now, this message should resonate with people that are already in, that profess to believe. Now's the time to really get this thing rolling, because you really do get living security with residual income and the best insurance against the economic future. And if this ever happens again, or when it happens again, you're going to be like the people that have already made it. Does that make sense to you? And all we have is time. I have this statue out on between the properties to remind us that, you better like what you're doing, because time is passing by. It's disappearing. And all we have is time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 4 weeks a month, 12 months per year. The difference is what we do with the time, because we're all given the same amount of time. So the question is, are you where you want to be in life? Do you love what you're doing with your time? And are you doing what you want? And will you ever be able to do what you want? Because you have to exchange time for money. Okay. If you don't have to exchange time for money because you have a residual income, well, then you can do what you want. So where will you be in 3 years? The only time is right now. See, what you do right now will influence the future, will change the future. Where will you be in 45 years? Look at where everybody is that in 45 years. It's scary. And so we have the opportunity here to do something about it. And look, let's talk about doctors and lawyers and teachers and people that really contribute something to our lives that we need. They can do the business, and then their profession of being a doctor or a teacher can become an avocation. They're doing it because they love to do it, and they don't have to do it because they have a residual income, if that makes sense. So I hope this is helping you. I have to get into your brain. I got to do this brain surgery so that you can do the evaluation approach brilliantly and have fun with it. And again, one more time, because this is just so important. Residual income is different than pay, salary, or regular income, or even profits from a small brick and mortar business. You have to understand that. It's magic. It's not exchanging time for money. It is not exchanging time for money. The point is that residual income is different than weekly paychecks, salary, or regular income, or even commissions or profits from a small business. You got to make that point. Residual income is when you are not exchanging time or tasks for money. And that is accomplished with an unfranchised business with successful UFOs earning in 2 organizations. So by helping somebody else earn in 2 organizations, you always hear me say you have to succeed so that other people can realize their dreams. Well, we actually do that by forgetting about what we want and making it work for them so that they can achieve their dreams, and automatically you get yours. And what a better formula. There could be no better formula than that. So think about it. This applies to doctors, to lawyers, and to CEOs. Those people are my peers economically today. I love talking to them because they are way out on the limb. They're actually scared. But it applies to the doctors, lawyers, and CEOs who have to run so many people through the office per week just to pay the bills. That's one of my favorite questions when I'm in the dentist chair, when I go to the doctor. How many patients you got to run through here this week in order to stay open? And because, they understand that I understand, and we have fun with it. I don't beat them up, but the same is true of high-paid lawyers and commercial real estate builders and celebrity entertainers and professional athletes, sometimes being paid millions, let's just say 1 to 25 million per year, right? You know about these people. Now, even if they're just making 500 grand to several million per year and they stop, or the business fails, or they get hurt, or because of any reason, including competition or a forced shutdown, their income stops. They have no income. So they have big bills though. They bought beautiful cars, big estates, houses. What happens? It's a long fall, you see, and it hurts. So the biggest difference of being that high up is that, and you admire those people, don't you? These big time lawyers and doctors and real estate developers. And the point is though, the higher up it is that they reach an income, the longer and harder the fall. Oh, so they are way out there. I love talking to them about the business because people respect them and listen to them. And this can be their safety net. This can be their way out. And they eventually find out that they're just broke like you, but at a higher level. So they're broke at a higher level, and this can solve that. I have a lot of fun with this, and I hope that you will start having fun with it too. I proclaim to everybody that I know that I'm the residual income missionary. I proclaim that residual income is king, and I would never do anything that didn't generate it, and our business is built on it. And I really emphasize that because anything else, in my opinion, is a waste of time, you see? So I love to share the story of discussing residual income with other iconic entrepreneurs and centimillionaires or billionaires who have made it. And I compliment them. I say, we have something in common. And to me, it's the most important thing. It's this thing that differentiates you from your peers and other people. And, you guys know that we're friends with Tommy Mottola and Talia and, they're music mogul. I mean, he built Sony Records to $12 billion. He's called the hit maker. And it took a lot. It was a war, to get there. But he says, JR, I have many publishing rights and royalties. I said, Tommy, you're right. You have gotten the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow from what you've done. And we met a Starbucks executive, a guy that helped develop and expand Starbucks. He was able to keep a master franchise in the US, meaning that he gets royalties on the Starbucks. In Puerto Rico, he rented our house for a week. That's how I met him. And he had an inside track there, though, and spent years helping develop it and expanding it. He was able to get that, and I paid him a residual income. I don't know if you remember, we had the president of McDonald's and to speak at one of our conventions early on in the early 2000s. And, McDonald's seems to change their CEO every 5 years or so. So he wasn't there anymore. He was able to get a master franchise where he was over so many franchises and got royalties on them. The fashion and clothing industry, like Tommy Hilfiger, our friend, he gets licensing royalties and on seasonal releases in stores, but it took him 20 years to establish it. I love hearing him tell the story. My friend, the former NASCAR champion and mogul who turned sports announcer, Jeff Gordon, I mean, he gets royalties on his name and paraphernalia, and he owns interests in other teams. And he has an online sales company and a book. He gets royalties, but it took a successful racing career and risking his life to get there. I mean, how many of you are going to do that? I mean, brand shopping centers. My friend Craig Robbins here in Miami, who started Art Basel, made huge investments and had to develop relationships and ongoing management contracts and rent and key money and guaranteed lease payments in the design district, which he opened up. But how many of us are going to be able to do what he did? See, he's 1 out of 1,000. A hotel investor and developer that I know, you have to buy and build and then license the hotel management company and then get a monthly percentage as a residual. Hey, that's great. But how many of us are going to do that? Apartment complex giant in New York, the LaFrac family, 47,000 apartments, $6 billion in property. The son, Harry LaFrac, socialized with him. And he talks about, the huge investment and maintenance costs, but huge residual cash flow off rents into the billions that come in. But that's not going to happen to most people. And it took 2 generations to get there. Software and application developer, one of my favorite people, Jim Clark, he founded Netscape. It was the first browser company. I guess Explorer beat them out. But he also had Silicon Graphics, WebMD, Shutterfly, and many other things. So you have to develop an upfront equity program to bring people in and to lock them in. You got to raise capital. His friend TJ Jermaluk, who's another friend of mine, was with Kleiner and Perkins, helped with that and other projects. And they both say, man, we're way out on the limb when we do these things. And if they don't work, we go down. If they do work, yeah, we're set. And we've been lucky to a certain extent. But how many of you or us are ever going to be able to do that? Parking lot king and hotel mogul, Don Sofer, I guess he's a billionaire, gets a constant income stream from parking lots. Now think about parking lots. Not anybody can just go open a parking lot. You have to get approvals from the municipality. You got to make the investment. You got to build it. There's all types of laws and rules. And once you get it, you get an income coming in from it. But how many people are going to be able to pull that off? I know an inventor of switching devices, an engineer. It takes 5 years to develop a mechanism that they get a patent, and that has costs and time, and so they get an upfront 6-7 figure payment and annual royalty agreements beyond the patents, but they dedicated 5 to 6 years of their life and had to raise capital. How many of you are even going to have the knowledge of that engineer to make it, let alone actually execute on it? Even Hulk Hogan, who used to be my next door neighbor, the 5th most recognized person in the world. His name, his comics, his paraphernalia, his movies, all of that were worth over $300 million, and it got stolen from him. I'll use the word stolen, taken from him, because he was a wrestler, not a businessman. But he got, he lost control of it. And how the people we know, Jennifer Lopez and so many other, 10 to 20 other top musical artists or movie stars, and they get movie rights or music royalties, but most of that's dried up for them, and they get paid to do a movie or to do a tour or to do a show. But they're 1 out of tens of thousands. And here's the point, and I want you to get this. Part of my point is that the unfranchised business and MPCP with residual income and our tracking system removes the barriers and puts you on the same level with these people. Where else is that going to happen? So when we talk to people, don't be so beggy, so needy. This is like getting into Harvard. You say, but in most of these examples, these people had to capitalize. They had to, in order to get royalties or residual income, or they were 1 in a million type of situation where somebody became a rock star, a movie star, or whatever. And so they have the grand prize, and I have to acknowledge it. You know, you got it. You did it. You have the grand prize in all in different ways and different forms, but not just anyone could have done it, and you did it. And you got the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You have a residual income coming in that allows you to do whatever you want. But I proudly tell them the reason that mine is better than theirs and more secure. I tell them, you know, each of you get it and have financial freedom and time freedom because you did it, and that's great. Congratulations. However, you are the only one who is enriched and gets it in the entire enterprise. That's the difference between you and us. You see, you make it off the model and the people involved. Mine with Market American Unfranchised is created and earned, built, paid, and guaranteed by others getting a six-figure residual income and succeeding. So my residual income is directly proportional to the number of other UFOs earning residual income. So think about it. What better way is there to get a residual income than by helping other people get a residual income? It doesn't exist anywhere else. It doesn't take money. It doesn't take education. It doesn't take experience. It takes desire. It takes an evaluation approach. It takes a list of people. It takes a mechanism of getting people leading to people. And I'm telling you this because anybody can do it. We remove the barriers of doing it, like capital, size of bankroll, connections, allowing the average people to be able to leverage this power. There's nothing that prevents you from doing it. So it's an offer too good to refuse. If you have gotten into Harvard, you can get somebody else in, but they got to qualify, you see. And all they got to do is be willing to hear the story of residual income, choose that, and then let's get some people to evaluate it to see if they know some people that might be right for this. And in the process, if you lead to some of the right people, it's going to set you up for residual income. So, you know, the difference is that once it's established and others are earning or succeeding, it becomes a residual income. In the beginning, you're exchanging some time for money, yes. But residual income means that you built it once and got paid for it, but now that's established, it continues producing income residually from what it generates after it was built, because it is still producing or being used or paid for. And that's what we have. That's what our mechanism is. And that's why our products are important. And it's so important that they're exclusive, because nobody can get them anywhere else. And that preserves your residual income. So it's very difficult to do this in most businesses or enterprises. It can't be done very easily. In fact, it is a rarity for it to be done in a restaurant or a dry cleaners or a store. It requires that entrepreneurial owner who cares being there. And quite often when they try to do another restaurant or another shop, it's not quite the same as the first one with them there. In fact, the proprietor has to be there in almost all of these enterprises. It's an exception to the rule when they're able to break out of that, because it's hard to duplicate without the creator and owner being there, because to a large extent, they are the business and they are why people keep coming. And that's true in a tech business, selling products online, if you think about it, or even a small manufacturing business. If the guy who made it happen isn't there, it's hard for it to go on and keep going. Here, it's built to do that. It's actually built to do that. But you see, the unfranchised with the MPCP was specifically designed to do exactly that, generating residual income from the sale of unique, exclusive, consumable products that are in demand and can only be bought through the UFOs. And we have a technology platform with the universal shopping cart and the MPCP financial mechanism to convert pieces of the margin into income, and the whole tracking system, which nobody else has. We have the pot of gold. So of course, as icing on the cake, we also offer the universal shopping cart. Think about this. We have a mechanism where we can sell anything that you want, anything that's in demand, we can put in there, okay? Plus our own brands and, 13 or 14 major multi-billion-dollar market caps with our own exclusive, superior, proven brands. So the unfranchised, in essence, if somebody gets it, it says residual income, I see it. Well, they don't have to develop what's necessary to make it work. We give them a 360 turnkey system, and we remove all the barriers. Normally, this would cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions, and we eliminate it. You get a universal shopping cart with the technology, websites, e-commerce, all the products. If you go into e-commerce or online shopping, you don't get the products with it. You got to go find them. You got to work the deals. Then you got to worry about fulfillment. But you have the exclusive brands and thousands of other brands, program systems, marketing support to sell online or direct sales in 12, it depends on where you are, 12 to 14 major billion-dollar cap markets, digital arsenal of tools, state-of-the-art unfranchised back office in real time and social media marketing, and training and coaching and marketing support with a team of vested, that has a vested interest in you. Now think about that. That team that's making money actually wants you to make money. You open a beauty salon or a dry cleaners or a restaurant, don't try to ask somebody else that's in that business to help you. They see you as competition. They want you out of business. So if you get it, you're going to normally have to find the business model and have the experience and training to run it. Don't discount that. It's a big difference. So where is one going to get all of that? But you say in Market America, it's all provided and you automatically have expert help. Now you might have to seek it out a little bit, but yes, one must put in time and work and develop something that generates revenue and income. And while they're working or building, they're getting paid commissions, fees, and salaries in exchange for that effort, time, and work. So that's active income at that point, okay? But it pays well. This is like building the business and earning retail profits and commissions for reaching MPCP thresholds and brackets, 35 to 45% retail profit markups and savings on products, and commissions on the organizational volume at the brackets and the MPCP, earning weekly or monthly checks, $300 to $3,600 a week, right? That's active income. But once we move to duplicate that with somebody else who's also earning, it's no longer active income. It becomes residual income. So it's automatically built into the system by doing something really cool, helping other people succeed. Right. See, in most things, you make more by other people making less. In order to advance, you have to bring somebody else down. In order to win, you have to outcompete the others. You see, that's all goes away here. There's no, this is utopia. So at that point, it was active income, but now it becomes residual income. And the difference is that once it is established and others are earning or succeeding, the income becomes residual and continues after the organizations are earning and secured. So think about it. There's no other program in the world that you make more by making other people make it and make more. Average people cannot get this anywhere else. If they can't get it anywhere else, and it's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, it's the dream, it's the wish, then you have an offer too good to refuse. How else can they ever get it? It's not a fairy tale, it's real. We have 400 millionaires, thousands of people doing it. What about them? Oh, what about you? So we can offer someone to look at the program or evaluate it and help us identify the right people. Think about it. This is what gets them in the game. and gives them a chance to win. They might not do it. It might not work out for them. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. But they don't lose anything. They don't go bankrupt. And they might just hit the right person. And we know that anybody that stays in long enough and works with us is eventually going to find the right people. And in this system, because we don't have to build width or horizontally or laterally, opening up more and more insurance agents or more and more franchises or more real estate agents. We have to have lateral expansion in order to have profitability. Because we don't have to do that and we can get it all down one line, everybody's working together to produce the people through the evaluation technique and trial run. And when one hits, everybody gets 100% credit without dilution for a year. So, okay, worst case scenario, they're half rich or half paid. But isn't that a great incentive to go get one more with something that's already working? So residual income is what the business plan is all about. Now, the MPCP and the 5 steps is what you put all the emphasis on. And the tracking system, that's how only shows how it works. The only reason I show it in the beginning, because I know that they don't understand it, is so that they know that we have it figured out. But they got to choose a 2 to 3 year plan to get some people going. You usually understand a plan after you get a check. You see? So why are we worried about that? So they don't understand it anyway, and that's why I tell them they have to see it 3 times. Okay? You know, in any other business, there's things you got to go through to get a job. I mean, you know, you have to, sometimes you're tested. You have to have references. Sometimes you have to prove yourself first, you see? And why don't we do that here? Well, I do it. So they have to see it 3 times. The second time, they're going to see things they didn't see the first time. The third time, okay, fireworks will go off in their head if they're right for it. And then we just simply need to test it out. And I'm going to do it with them. They're not going to do it. So if they will lead me to the people, and what do you want? What do I want? I want somebody to lead me to the people. Why would you want to bring in anybody who can't sponsor anyone or can't lead to any customers? It doesn't make any sense. So why not find out before you sign them up? And then that becomes self-perpetuating. It's like RNA. It replicates from person to person. They start leading the people before they come in, and it's miraculous. So if they qualify by consciously choosing residual income over the 45-year plan, it puts them, separates them from the rest of the people. They become different. Now we can really talk because they've identified the golden, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and we have a way of doing it. So it changes the atmosphere. So in other words, they must qualify. I can't work with everyone. I can only work with 2 to 4. You may be the one, okay? And anybody that we work with, because we have this down to science, we will lead to the right people and they will end up with a residual income unless you disappear. That's the bottom line. That's my guarantee. So pretty amazing. It's true that you have a management responsibility in regard to residual income. You got to make sure things are going okay. You got to make sure that if there's problems, you step in and solve them. But you know, there's a lot of you that are sitting on acres of diamonds, literally acres of diamonds. Am I out of time?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's what, this is like Homeland. Okay, so listen. Each one of you have down in your group somewhere, there's somebody that you think is going to be solid that has a weak side. And they don't really realize that it's not going to last. Yet in that group, there are some diamonds, diamonds in the rough, people that want it so badly. And all they need is somebody to work with them. And these are the Elizabeth Webbers of the world that I found 20 some years ago, that if you just work with them, they'll blossom, they'll tear it up. And what happens? Quite often that maxes out your income on that leg. More importantly, it secures it so that it's forever. I'm sorry I got so carried away and took so long. The next thing that I'm going to go into, in the next session is actually how we do the evaluation approach, actual scripts, okay? What to say, how to customize it for yourself, how to come up with the reason that would make sense to them, that they might know the right people, how to change the atmosphere with getting a partner on it. And we have so much fun. And when you start doing this and it starts to work, everything changes. You begin to, what you used to hate to do, you love to do. You know, what you used to be afraid to do, you're totally confident in doing. And the business becomes a blessing and rather than a chore. And I just want you to get there. A lot of you are very close. This methodology of doing this on Zoom and then carrying it over into the evaluation approach and then getting with people and having 3 or 4 people on and then continuing connecting the dots with that is magic. We've actually been blessed by this curse, if you understand what I mean, because we have captive audiences and people are listening to solutions for income. God bless you. We got the best. You are the best. We're going to make it happen. Next week, I'll stay on time.